COVID was a trying time for everybody. I know so many people who lost loved ones due to COVID. People lost jobs. They didn't know how they were going to pay bills.
When you think about the metrics of COVID, our sales dropped by 78, 80% the very first week. You don't know if that's a bump until you realize the second week it dropped by 90%. That's where the panic kind of began to set in. The funny part about being in the restaurant business, if you ever worked in it, Friday, Saturday night at a restaurant is, it's controlled chaos. So even though COVID was terrible, we're used to having to scrap and fight for what we need to stay in business as a restaurateur. So we're still used to the madness of just because of our occupation. So we're able to have some really engaging conversations to try to work with the county, with the city. I think that nature in all of us, we're like, okay, what do we have to do individually, but also collectively to make sure that we're all winning? And that was always the mindset, Durham coming together.
When COVID-19 started, it was definitely a trying time. A lot of businesses didn't last. So it was kind of, nervousness on our part because we didn't know what to expect. Me and my aunt and my staff, we came up with the idea, how can we help the community? Well, we do food, so we can give free meals away. We thought that would at least help take some of the stress off of people during those trying times. We gave away anywhere from 250, 300 meals per day during COVID-19. There were absolutely no qualifications to receive a free meal. Anybody who wanted a meal could come. You can get 2, 3, however meals you would desire. In addition to the free meals, we also partnered with other organizations. We did an additional 700 meals per day that was delivered to different sites throughout Durham. One of the organizations that we partnered with was Durham Free Lunch.
Durham Free Lunch came together April of 2020. I had met a high school activist named Elijah King at a local climate rally. And then around April, I got a call from him. Obviously by then, COVID was in full swing. Schools had been shut down. And he let me know that he wanted to start a project to help get food to Durham Public School families because Durham Public Schools had stopped serving their lunches. A lot of students and their families that had relied on these meals had that access cut off. I knew that a farmer friend of mine, George O'Neill with Lil Farm, was still growing and producing a lot of food and had some idea towards just somehow contributing to the issue. So George said, yeah, I bet we could get in touch with Andy McGowan of Gear Street Garden. Maybe we could run the service out of his kitchen. Probably within a week of that, we launched a GoFundMe to try to get some funds together. In addition to schools being shut down, all the restaurants were shut down. So the mission was, we want to keep Gear Street Garden from shutting down permanently, pay the employees so they could continue to have some funding while the restaurant was closed to the public. So I'm making sure that those Durham Public School families had access to free meals, as well as particularly service industry folks who had maybe been laid off because their restaurants were closed. And it was just amazing. We launched the GoFundMe, and within 24 hours, just local small donation donors, we had raised $20,000. And I just remember waking up and calling Eli and calling George and like, look what we did, And we started up with the goal of Monday through Friday, 100 meals a day, 5 days a week, free, no questions asked. And we thought, maybe we'll do this for a month or 2 months. And as the donations kept going and we saw that this wasn't just going to be a short-term problem, by the end of it, we had run Durham Free Lunch for a full year. By the last count, it was over 40,000 free meals over the course of a year and over $180,000 raised just from local donors. It speaks to the spirit of Durham. So many of our amazing restaurants in this area are locally owned, and so they're part of the fabric of the community here in Durham.
We've been in business over 70 years, and it really motivates me to be from a city such as Durham, who has a lot of history. It inspired me also to keep going, seeing how the city, everybody pulled together. We're just blessed that the community has supported us. My parents always believe with all the small businesses and businesses in the community, it's like a heartbeat of the community. Giving the free meals away, it was our way of pushing that heartbeat back into the community to keep the community going. Every customer that walks through this door is important because without the customers, it'd be an empty building. So, I appreciate everything that the community, the city, and the customers, all the support they give us.
It was amazing how other local businesses stepped in. to contribute. Everybody knew that things were messed up. They wanted to help. You know, Durham has a tendency to really come together around a good cause.
I saw a lot of small businesses pulling together. We all kind of would talk and help each other through it, ask one another we need anything we can help each other do. The support like that was tremendous.
A lot of us restaurateurs coming together and just being able to collaborate, connect, talk. Like, there's always people who are willing to help. That's what the food industry was about. Like, the restaurants, it's like, hey, we're all struggling. We need help. You call in, you know, those favors of just like, hey, I've never really asked for anything, but I'm asking for help now. How do we provide dollars to keep providing jobs? We can keep people employed just to ride this out. You know, that was the goal. And so we were able to do that. And for us, it started with Durham Public School Foundation. We were able to get connected with them, and we began delivering meals on behalf of the Durham Public School System. For us, that was the big piece, that we were able to go from, you know, give or take 28 employees down to 7, up to almost 70. And that for us was a great sign of success. We went back to the basics, which is what Durham is all about, was to serve. And it was in that basic tenet of serving. Really seems surreal how all of this stuff is manifested. That really was the seed of it all. We were just serving, and the blessings just kind of came after that.
Being able to serve the community during COVID-19, it really touched my heart. How the country pulled together, how we were able as a restaurant, a small business in the community, to touch so many hearts.
Durham is a really special place. When there's a need that's evident, people really step up. We have such a wealth of community. I've seen it over and over and over again, and that's a really special combination.